I'm Robert Sutton and this is my Roomba robot, and I'm going to walk you through the rebuild. I was previously running off a Raspberry Pi, which is here, with additionally a Allback Astra Pro installed. So I wanted to, the Allback Astra didn't have the necessary depth range, so I wanted to have a minimum depth measurement of 60 centimeters, which if you on the robot puts your measurement out here somewhere. The Intel realsense camera gives me a range of about 20 centimeters, so I can pretty much see to the front of the robot, which is ideal. The realsense required USB 3, which the Raspberry Pi doesn't do, so hence we moved to the udoo x86 64-bit system, which also is being x86 means I can run standard Ubuntu 18.04, and which also solves the drivers problem I had for the realsense on Raspberry Pi, since there isn't really currently support for ARM. So this is the battery bank I bought, and we've got a power button just here. If we press that, it comes on at 12 volts. If I press it again, it jumps to 16. If I press it again, it jumps to 19. And a long hold turns it off, like this. Now, one of the concerns I had was, given the udoo's voltage tolerance, about plus or minus half a volt, is that if I had it on at 12 volts and went to turn it off, I could accidentally, instead of doing a long hold, do a short hold and jump to 16 volts and assumably fry the udoo. Incidentally, we've got 5 volts out here for USB, and on the end is the 12, 16 or 19 volts out. So this necessitated the use of a voltage regulator. I'll just turn that off. Alrighty, so this is the buck boost converter which I bought, which will bring voltage up to or down from whatever voltage to my desired target output 12 volts. It is adjustable. I have previously adjusted this to the correct voltage. This is of course the udoo inside a case, so not a lot to see here. I've got the Wi-Fi plugged in already. So that's the udoo. Requires 12 volts up to 3 amps. It actually only uses about 1 amp by itself, but up to 3 amps to power various USB devices that are plugged into it. This is just a run-of-the-mill 4-port USB 3 hub. This is the RP LiDAR, which gives me about 6 scans a second of the entire room, with its USB to serial adapter attached. This is a bracket which I made to mount the Intel realsense depth camera, which you'll see a bit later. And this is the Intel realsense, all the way up, depth camera, which I'll be installing a bit later. So, we'll start by explaining. So basically I've got 4 standoffs here to mount my baseboards on. These are actually just cupboard handles, which I bought at the local hardware store, which I'll start taking screws out of. I put a few, because of the serial port here on the Roomba, the plug I've got is quite tall, so I've added some extra standoffs here with just a stack of nuts, which I've actually anchored in place with some nail polish. It's really effective glue. If I could undo that screw, that would be great. Let's just fix that. Okay, so I'll just get these screws out. So this is the baseboard, which started off as just it's an MDF cake base, which I put holes obviously in, cut a hole in the centre to access the power buttons on the Roomba. So we're going to mount this on to these mounting points, which are instantly just held down with double-sided tape. And I'm going to thread this cable through so that we can get to it where we want it later. So we'll just get that lined up with its holes. So the baseboard is now securely anchored to the Roomba. I'll just face that round so it faces the camera. So the next thing is, well, we need to put our hardware on. So the udoo is going to go here. The power bank is going to sit here. USB hub is going to sit here. and the buck boost converter is going to sit somewhere. If I've got things where I planned them to be. Here. Basically like so. So I'm just going to plug those in so that I get everything in the right position. So that's where everything is going to sit, and I am just going to use double-sided tape to hold everything in place. So that's all of that stuff. Time to put on the second layer, which will sit roughly there with the realsense and RP LiDAR on it. So I'm just going to put the mounting pillars in, which obviously I need to anchor the RP LiDAR onto this board. As you can see, I've put a hole in the board here to allow the cable to drop through, because there's not really enough clearance on this plug here without putting a nasty kink in those wires, and it also is convenient to take the cable straight down to that board. So I'll just get these screws out of the way. I tend to mount my realsense camera here, facing forward, slightly angled down so I can see the ground. And I double-sided tape this mount onto the base, and then I'll mount the camera. Actually, maybe before I do that, I'll demonstrate that this mount is actually, the centre of gravity is well placed. So as you can see, this is not going to fall over. It's actually quite stable. The centre of gravity is nicely placed beneath the centre of the mount, which is going to go here. So I'm just going to cut some double-sided tape to hold the mount down. So that's the entire build. We probably should turn it on and see if it works. So I'm going to power up Roomba first. Roomba's powered up. And I'm going to power up the... So I'm going to turn the battery on, set it to 16 volts, and plug that in. LiDAR's already started going, and now we just have to wait for the udoo to boot. So